We did not realise what a four-letter word meant to have RAAC in your home.
I think Tory's been ripped apart by a number of things, but RAAC has got a big thing to do with it.
It looks like a ghost town, if I'm honest. You've got rows and rows and rows of empty properties.
We feel ignored, we feel abandoned.
Just bought something that is worthless.
Losing that 45,000, we will never ever get that back.
Good evening. Concrete that could pose a risk of collapse has been found in public buildings and schools across Scotland. Now it's emerged more than 20,000 council houses across Aberdeen will have to be checked to see if they contain it.
So RAAC, if I get this right, because quite difficult, reinforced aerated autoclaved concrete, which is a bubbly form of concrete. If you cut it in half, it has the same resemblance of the inside of an aero bar. It contains steel through the middle of it, which is a reinforcement. But the biggest issue it has is if water gets into it.
It's a cheap material in house building between 1960 and 1990s.
If moisture can get into it due to expansion and contraction, like from heat and cold, it can cause cracks and can cause it to collapse.
There is no warning. So you could be sitting eating your tea or watching TV and it will just collapse.
When we found out that we first had RAAC and we got the letter through the door, it was a case of, number one, we didn't know what RAAC was. So the first thing we did was Google. We Googled RAAC. When the second letter got delivered through the door, because that was the one that said, you definitely have RAAC, and it could result in your roof collapsing in, and they were going to be starting moving out the tenants. So that was very distressing at the time, very, very distressing.
Residents in Dundee say they've been left in limbo, living under a roof riddled with the potentially dangerous concrete RAAC.
We first found out about it a few years back through a letter from Dundee City Council. A short time afterwards, one of our neighbours tried to sell his property, but he quickly found out when the buyers, in a sense, went to buy the property and went through the solicitor, because Dundee City Council had made it public, it cancelled his sale. So his sale fell through.
More and more RAAC is becoming known about, the more and more it's in the media. Because of the material it is, no lender will provide a mortgage on any property with RAAC. End of story.
It's now been almost a year since residents living in RAAC-affected homes in Tory were told they had to move out as soon as possible. Residents are now being given three options: sell their homes at post-RAAC valuation, swap their homes for a council property, or replace the RAAC roof panels at their own cost.
Everything goes silent for a little while, and then the penny drops, and you realise that this is going to be a long, ongoing battle. Tens of thousands less than what I paid for the property, and that's before you even take into account any renovations I might have made to the property. That's just lost money at this point. RAAC currently affects 500 properties in Tory. There's 300 properties that was council, I believe, and they're all empty at this point in time. And if you go from having 500 properties full of people, of families, and then go to 120 of us. It's a big drop in like population. It used to be a bustling little community, always something going on, always something happening. The synthetics playing field, which is one that hits really hard at home. I grew up in that field. I enjoy walking my dog in that field. I've got many memories of cuts and scrapes in that field. You'd have kids playing football in the field next to it, and obviously they'd be running home at night time for dinner and so on and so forth, because tea time's tea time. But nowadays you don't really see anybody.
At night time, you now walk through our estate and it is literally like walking through a ghost town. It's like a deathly silence and it's so dark. It's quite eerie, quite scary, because you think you're on your own. I'm the only person in my row now. Night times I'll be listening for noises, because we've had a lot of homes getting ransacked and broken into, and the slightest noise you think, is that somebody breaking into the flat above me? Plus it's so dark, you can't see, so there could be anybody hiding behind my fence even, and I wouldn't know they were there.
As you see of it, the crack's getting worse, and there's a chunk come out of it now, and then the mould, which is really starting to affect us.
No, that's right. And you've even got your window open like they suggest for ventilation, but it's not really making any difference.
Yeah, it's not making any difference.
It's challenging, because at the opposite end, you've also got the young folk that only have just bought their properties, then shortly after that being informed they have RAAC, they have full mortgages. They can't borrow any more money because they're already up to their full mortgage. How are they supposed to raise the money and finance this?
How we have somebody that's 21-year-old, another one that's 104-year-old. I mean, 104 years old, what voice do they have? What financial help have they got? There's nothing. We eventually put our house on the market, thought everything was fine. Surveyors came round, estate agent come round, valued our property at full market value.
When this couple, they offered the full asking price of over 100,000, we then looked at our forever perfect dream home for us as a family, and we accepted initially their offer.
We quickly found out that a potential buyer couldn't get a mortgage. So any house with RAAC, you cannot get a mortgage on them. It's solely for cash buyers, and cash buyers want it for a heavily reduced price.
So what started off as offers over 100,000 with RAAC, actually we ended up dropping it repeatedly in various amounts to as low as 55,000. The emotional toll it's taken is intense. Our children were really heartbroken and disappointed, as were we.
I don't sleep. I have a really, really bad habit of every waking moment, the second I wake up, I go on the news and my search history just says RAAC News Aberdeen, RAAC News Aberdeen. Ultimately, my biggest concern is getting what I'm due, because I don't want to take anything less than what I'm entitled to. I need to make cuts, and obviously that's like cutting back on amenities that I may have, like subscription services, or even large ones like getting rid of a vehicle, which was painful. I would say I have a fair bit of anxiety, even maybe some underlying depression due to not actually know where I'm going to be in the next year.
The impact has been horrendous. I've suffered panic attacks. I've kind of withdrawn from a lot of things. I find it hard to sometimes go out my house. It's just It's just daily, it's there all the time. It affects everything in your life. It's just heartbreaking.
The Housing Secretary announced this afternoon that the Scottish Government would accelerate planned affordable house building.
£10 million, it will now be available to Aberdeen City Council. It will be available for their RAAC response.
At first I was like, yes, we've won. It's a sigh of relief. I feel relieved that we've managed to do this. But it's good that people will get what the houses are valued for. But it's like they're giving in one hand, taking away in the other, because they're now not giving you home loss. You're still losing your home.
When I heard the news that they changed their mind and basically did a U-turn on their previous stance, it was a moment of joy and a shock to the system, because I thought that we'd still be here a couple of years from now. It could be 5 years, 10 years, but lo and behold, it only took a couple months. At first we didn't believe our eyes. We're like, it's done. This is finally coming to an end. All this effort that we've put in, obviously for like protests, rallies, fundraising, so on and so forth, it meant something and we achieved it and we got our goal and ultimately we won.
But in Dundee, they're still facing their own RAAC crisis. It's really, really important that everybody helps us fight this. Refuse to give up. I know, I'm sorry.
I keep telling her to slow down, she won't slow down. It's not in her nature to slow down. That's why I married her. So all we're asking is for a little bit of help. But like she said, somebody somewhere has to take responsibility.
See, there's nights where I only get 2 or 3 hours sleep because all I do is RAAC. Losing that 45,000, we will never ever get that back. Do we need that money? Yes. But we'll probably never ever get that 45,000 back.